Hi everyone, on this edition of Scouting for Growth, I will be joined by Meeri Savolainen. Meeri is the founder and CEO of Inzmo, a fast-growing European financial services provider, making renting a home affordable for everyone. Inzmo is considered to be the fourth runner in creating a new standard for how people rent their homes, with more than 70,000 customers and over 400% growth in 2022. Inzmo has acquired recognition and investment from several investors and insurers in Europe. As an entrepreneur by trade, Meeri is passionate about breaking new grounds to lead social change. She shares with me that the core innovation lies in understanding customer needs, their struggles, and their values. And at Inzmo, the team there aims to design services around this single purpose. This is what makes them authentic and the reason why they put the customer at the center of everything. During our discussion, we intend to cover 4 key items. So what makes Inzmo a leader in its category across Europe's rental and cash deposit market? Meeri's interest in communication, relationship psychology, and strategic intervention. Inzmo's innovation journey across Europe, opportunities and challenges. Team Inzmo, what is next to scale? So let's welcome Meeri. Hi, everyone. So hi, Meeri. So nice to meet you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for the opportunity, Sabine.
My pleasure. So Meeri, welcome to this episode of Scouting for Growth. And so my first question to you is, what got you into insurance, right? You do not come from insurance.
No, absolutely not. I actually do have a legal background. I used to be a corporate and tax lawyer for quite many years in a very known company called Ernst & Young, and I started thinking about that I want to grow more, I want to take more risks, and I want to become an entrepreneur. So then I also met my co-founder Risto, with whom we have been working together for 12 years already on different projects. So this Inzmo is our third project, and together when we started Inzmo, then what we wanted to create is kind of like a digital disruption in the insurance industry, because insurance was quite lagging behind on the technological side. So we were kind of like a tech or IT powerhouse. And as things proceeded and developed, we understood that we want to create a strong brand in the insurance sector. And we want to mediate our own products. We just don't want to be an IT company or an enabler for insurance companies. So from 2016, we have been building the brand. It's more consumer-faced, and it's all about creating innovation and providing innovative solutions to the insurance market since then.
So what does innovation within insurance means for you?
Mm-hmm. There is actually so many touch points how to create the innovation in the insurance industry. So first, starting from automizing all the processes, it also touches underwriting, and first and foremost is the whole customer experience. We are today extremely customer centric. We do believe that the kind of success in the future insurance companies and insurtechs relies on the customer success and customer experiences. So this is something that where we try to create innovation also together with Inzmo. So great new innovative and dynamic insurance products together with an amazing instant and excellent customer experience.
So dynamic and excellent product to serve the customer. Tell us a little bit more around this rental and cash deposit world. Why tackling that problem, which I gathered from reading about the company and in your focus, you realize that is a massive problem we need to solve for across Europe.
Initially, when we started, then we were serving different types of non-life insurance products in our portfolio. And we always have been trying to find our niche because we do not want to be another traditional insurance company or fight with big companies or insurtechs like WeFox and others that have, a variety of products in their portfolio. So we wanted to find a significant niche. And when we sold these non-life insurance products like home contents, bikes, travel, and so on and so forth, we started to analyze our customers and like what kind of people are those and what kind of pains can we actually solve for them. So there was a few quite important learnings. What we understood that the majority of those customers are also renters, and 80% of those customers are living paycheck to paycheck, which means that first of all they have this financial burden on them on a daily basis, and secondly 40% of their income goes to pay for the rent, for their utilities, and so on and so forth. So these are actually those financially burdened people who we want to help now with our different financial and insurance solutions. And we understood that the kind of hassle starts when they start looking for their rental homes. So they have to provide all these credit checks, they have to pay thousands of euros of cash deposits, they have to get different insurance coverages, and they have to quite often also spend quite a lot of money to furnish their new rental home. So it's a huge hit on someone's budget, and especially for the young people, then they have to either take a loan or find an arrangement how to pay thousands of euros of deposits and organize everything so they can settle into their new home. And we want to tackle this problem because the whole rental industry and the deposit problems have been overlooked by a lot of insurance companies and financial services providers. On the other hand, it is a huge and growing trend globally. So that moving to a rental home instead of owning it is a massive trend right now because people want to have this flexible lifestyle, move around, remote working, and so on and so forth. So we want to kind of be an enabler in this new lifestyle. In 2040, it has been also said that you own nothing and you will be happy. So we're here to make customers happy and kind of lift this financial burden from them with our different products and services.
So what does Inzmo means? Is there a linkage with this rental market?
So Inzmo is this kind of instant and very easy provider for your insurance affairs, and especially everything related to your rental home. And Inzmo is something that when we put the name together, it was insurance and mobile, which means that insurance that is always accessible in your mobile phone, basically, which kind of gives the impression that it's something that is instant, that is always there, that is easy and very, very, very handy to follow.
So what comes to mind is that you're a woman in tech, and as you know, in insurance, we are getting better and better to have more women in insurance, but it still works to be done. So what are your superpowers to be in insurance, actually, Meeri?
As you mentioned, insurance is an extremely male-dominated industry, and it's getting better. I'm also proud to say that in Inzmo, 50% of the employees are women already, and 60% of the C-level or managing staff is female. So extremely proud of this. But I don't see this kind of like being a woman in insurtech something that is not good, because it gives us so much more opportunities to stand out as a woman in tech. I mean, also on the PR side and to get visibility. It's always like interesting to bring on new female leaders, and it's also easier for a small company like Inzmo that doesn't have limitless budget to do PR to get visibility and to get on the stage. Of course, it has its own downsides because women in tech in general struggle a bit when it comes to like VC funding and so on and so forth, because they need to prove themselves more. You have to prove that you're successful. You have to prove it more than male, because men usually, if they have a great business idea, it's kind of like natural for VCs to think, or there's still a strong bias that the men will be more successful, even if the data proves otherwise. The struggle maybe more is on the funding side, but in terms of like being heard out or attract great talent, I think women in insurtech do have a competitive advantage here for sure.
So, it's interesting because you're right, the market is shifting a little bit. And what I've noticed, a lot of initiative, as you probably saw, around women in tech, women in insurance, and a lot of great corporates also are putting a lot of funding and a lot of, I would say, PR dollars to make sure that even their internal talents are being recognized. So it's great to hear that you're also doing that within Inzmo, which takes me to, when you look at your markets, where are you today, Meeri? Mm-hmm. Which markets are you covering?
Mm-hmm. So today we have been focusing solely on the German market. Given that the team was so small previously, then we wanted to do really well in one very significant market. And now in the next 12 to 24 months time, we're ready to expand to other European countries. And the most interesting rental markets for us are Spain, Italy, Portugal, and France. So these are our next targets. And also, given that we do have already significant partnerships that operate on those markets, these partnerships open also doors for us in the new markets.
Yeah, it's superb. So we'll probably see you at ITC Barcelona in Spain then, huh?
Would be great.
Yes, we should do it. But so when I look at your offer and, some of the market trends that everybody's talking about, how do you play in this embedded insurance, embedded finance world? You mentioned partners, you mentioned your platform, you mentioned mobile internet first. So tell us, how does that play?
So embedded is something that will be booming also in the coming years. In 2023, we will probably see a huge rally for embedded insurance opportunities and locking up partnerships and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, as also previously mentioned, we have already learned that the customer experience and the kind of pioneers in customer experience win the game. Today, there is no problem to sell any kind of insurance products online or via partner in a minute, right? But the ugly truth comes out in the claims handling when the customer actually needs this product. So we have been operating 100% B2B2C in the past 5 years. We sell all our products via B2B2C, and we have invested heavily in order to provide good products that are often designed together with those partners with excellent customer experience, like post-sale services to the consumer after the policy is sold, because this is the breaking point. And this is what we also see, that the partners start looking for embedded insurance providers that will provide immaculate customer service after the policy is sold. And usually it comes down to, how is your claims handling experience? How easily can the customer engage with the insurance partner or the insurance policy after the policy is sold, and so on and so forth. So the pioneers in customer experience will definitely win the game. And we also want to be, when we look at the rental industry, we want to be the first ones who are locking up the most significant partnerships, like these midterm rental platforms, marketplaces, and so on and so forth. And together with them, we design and provide exactly the products that the customer needs, together with an excellent customer experience.
That's interesting because, partnership today is the key way organizations are aiming to grow. I talk to a lot of corporations as well as smaller businesses and also, tech providers, and they recognize the value of business ecosystems and the need to become much more efficient in implementing them. So when you look at your digital ecosystem, what are the strengths and weaknesses, or what are the opportunity and challenges you have experienced building yours, Meeri?
Yes. So first of all, when we look at the vertical, then the rental industry provides a huge opportunity today. As mentioned, it is untapped by different providers still. There's so much opportunities in working together with different marketplaces, different platforms, because they all do have the same problem. They want to provide instant, fully digital service, but when it comes to in the rental agreement flow, when it comes to pay the cash deposits or getting it back afterwards, getting all those insurance policies, this is something that kills the customer experience for those users for the marketplaces. So they do have today a pain over there. So this is definitely one opportunity, and there's different opportunities also when it comes to serving the landlords and the tenants themselves with different insurance and financial products. So and I think the core key lies in technical innovation, how hassle-free partner you are to those platforms, to those landlords, to those brokers, and so on and so forth. Because it's something that has not been offered yet, or these services have been kind of offline on paper. So this is the technological advantage here in embedded insurance definitely plays a huge role.
How has been your experience working with corporations, established players?
So we know that B2B2C corporations, especially when they're significant players, they don't happen overnight. They usually require some MVPs before you launch the whole product. So you have to bear in mind the whole kind of full launch cycle is 6 to 12 months. And this is kind of like the norm or the tradition. Our goal is to invest in those partnerships and serve those partnerships and nurture those partnerships in the best way, so that we will have a stable access to their customer pool for the next 5, 10, 15 years, and to keep it this way.
So one thing which interests me is about you, actually, Meeri. You're interested in psychology, right? You actually have such a range of skill set, and one of your core goal is to do good, right, for the underserved who are there. So I would like to understand what your interest in communications, relationship psychology, and strategic intervention means. What are all those little buckets? What are those, and what do they mean?
So why it's an important topic for me is that that if we have, as a company, if we have a mission and vision, then how do we get people to engage with that? So how do we create value proposition? How we can solve actual and real problems and communicate this to our team first and foremost, to put people behind a goal and work behind a goal, and how we communicate this value to our potential customers, partners, and so on and so forth, so that we're doing something meaningful. Insurance industry has this kind of like, let's say, a bad name in terms of like they want to take your money, they're building these skyscrapers, and when you actually need them, then they find all this fine print in the documentation not to pay out the claim. So this is not how insurance should work. And this is also what we want to communicate to the world, that we are here to provide actual value and help people in their struggles. And we want to kind of have a really great message outside the company and inside the company to put people behind the one common goal. And I think this why I have been like so interested in psychology is that if we want to have people working towards a common goal, we have to understand different types of people. We have to understand their strengths, and it's extremely important that everybody who's working in the company are working in an area that is something that is in their strengths. That we don't push people to work in areas where they're not so strong. So, and understanding that these are all different people, we have to, as managers of the company, we have to understand those people and understand how they will be contributing to the common goal. So this is why it's extremely important to me. When it comes to strategic innovation, this is more about when you're in a startup. There's very few startups that nail their business model and activities from day one. For traditional startups, you have to make pivots occasionally. You have to, change the direction without losing the goal. And strategic innovation or intervention is something that a capability to understand, to look at the facts of the company, how where the company stands, where like what is the real situation, not look it better than it is and worse than it is, and to kind of intervene when it's necessary, and to change the course of the company, so that you're not blindly moving towards something, doing like wrong things and focusing on wrong things, but actually like understand the company's situation and make a pivot at the right time. At Inzmo, we have made, I think, 3 pivots throughout those years, and these have been extremely necessary. They're painful, but they're necessary.
I mean, I think, as you said, pivoting is actually a recognition that market is moving as well, and our market is moving much faster, right? The customer being digitized, adapt his or her needs based on what he see or she see around her or him. So I'm not surprised that pivots occur for many organizations, which still trying to find the right product market fit. One thing which comes to mind is, so what are your plans for the future, Meeri? Where is Inzmo going to go? I know you already talked about countries, but what else?
So we definitely want to be the #1 player serving the rental industry. And it's not just that we want to be the biggest one, but we want to be the best on customer experience. So we do understand that the success of the company lies in customer experience. This is why we want to put a lot of efforts in innovation, and we want to be the flagship of innovation in this industry with our products and the customer experience.
So you have a co-founder working alongside you. How do you guys interact, and how have you divided responsibility? And so therefore, when you're scaling, how are you going to collaborate to achieve those outcomes?
So me and my co-founder have a very different skill set. And this is why this cooperation is very complementary. So my co-founder is more strong on envisioning things and putting together the long-term strategies of the company, and I'm stronger on the execution side. So these 2 roles are very complementary, and whatever we are creating, for whatever plans we're creating for the future, my role is to execute them. And his role is to understand that where do we want to play in the future, how we will be different, what is the innovation we will be making. And if we have a strategy in place, then my role is to execute it.
So what do you think is a perfect team in a startup? You are the CEO of Inzmo, you have your co-founder. How do you define technology and business skills?
I think both founders definitely do not have to be tech people. There has to be definitely somebody who is strong in technology, and this is also was kind of our case when we started the company, that Risto was more stronger on the technological and the project management side, and my role was more like execution, administration, financing, sales, and so on and so forth. So the roles of tech and sales definitely have to be there, because otherwise, if there's just developers coming together starting a company without the understanding how to kind of scale this, how to sell this concept, it will be extremely difficult. It's quite traditional to happen in Estonia, where people are a little bit more modest and we don't have like these sales skills in our genes. So we have a lot of startups that is like a bunch of extremely great engineers, but at the end of the day, these projects end up to be in the drawer because there was no sales and business development skills in the company. So I think like tech plus like business mindset and sales skills is the perfect combination for the start.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So now a bit of a question again about you. So Meeri, looking back at where you are, right, where you are today, and looking at the younger Meeri, what would you tell her about what she would be doing and where she would be today?
So my advice would be to trust more of your instincts, because over these years I have understood that my initial instinct has been always right, even though I have not been very strong in maybe justifying it or argumenting it and so on and so forth. But if you have a very strong instinct in terms of like where the business should go, then you should follow it. Like trust yourself more.
That's superb. So now I would like you to tell me, so, people listening to our discussion would be, entrepreneurs, there would be investors, there would be entrepreneur, corporate venture capitalist as well. So when you look and face off to our finance community and insurance community, how can they help Inzmo be more successful in the future?
Well, I think we are always looking for different partnerships in terms of creating new insurance products. So we are very open to investments on the insurer side and also collaboration in different shapes and forms with different insurance companies. So far we have gathered investments from insurance companies and also partnerships from insurance companies. And in that sense, I mean, we are always welcoming different partnerships to kind of work together with us on different projects that could contribute the whole rental industry on the tenants and landlord side. So what can we provide in addition to them in cooperation? So this is definitely highly welcome. And on the financial side or on the investor side, of course, we are constantly fundraising as all the insurtechs are today. And yes, here we're also open to talk with all the investors that are interested in serving the space and that have the know-how how the insurtech and insurance industry operates.
That's super. Yes, investment, collaboration, very important for growth today. I mean, I wish you all the best around the fundraise. The market is, comme ci, comme ça. I've seen some of the startups I work with raising really nice rounds this year, and others, taking a little bit longer to achieve this outcome, and others, struggling a little bit, but hopefully everything will come together as we move to the next year. Any last few words, Meeri, for our audience and listeners?
Yes, I think I was also thinking about the next year and the year end and trying to kind of wrap up like what has happened in insurtech in general in 2022. There has been also rumors that is the insurtech hype over and what is going on that space, and to maybe just give the last prediction here is that in the coming year and two we will definitely see a second wave of insurtech. So there's plenty of opportunities in the insurance industry and more to come. So everybody should stay tuned and also find their niche and their opportunity on the market, because there is so many opportunities still left how to improve and disrupt the whole insurance industry. And I would suggest all the founders and everybody interested in the space to be bolder, and also for all insurers to engage in more cooperations with startups, because there is so much more to still benefit and there's so much more still undiscovered in the space.
Oh, certainly. And what I like as well is, we have a talent within the industry, but also having talent coming from outside is extremely helpful to look at the problem slightly differently and start thinking about better lateral thinking and lateral problem solving. So where can we find you?
I'm there in LinkedIn always, and hopefully we will see each other in the new year in different conferences. I will be always there participating and networking. So happy to talk with anybody who is interested in the space and who has some interesting collaboration ideas.
Perfect. So we can find you on LinkedIn, right? And then we can also probably connect with you on your website, inzmo.com.
Yes.
And I'm sure people will be able to find someone within the team who can actually access you and being able to communicate with you. Well, Meeri, thank you very much for your time. Very grateful to speaking with you today.
Thank you very much, Sabine, and have a great end of the year.
Thank you. You too. If you like this podcast, subscribe now, share with your friends, and if you enjoyed it, please give it a 5-star review. Also, if you want to cover any specific subject with me, contact me on Instagram under Sabine VdL Officials or LinkedIn under Sabine VdL. Thank you.